Hello. Hello, fellow campers. In this time of isolation, my name is Jeff Deck, and I'm here to do another reading from the Pseudo-Chronicles of Mark Huntley, my book right here by the fake fireside. So we're going to pick up with kind of a long entry tonight, and we'll see if I can get through all of it without fucking up. If I do, then I get to have my third piece of pizza. So let's do this. Saturday, September 25th, 2004. I'm fucking up already. In which I make a scene. This is Mark Huntley, remember. Well, that was an unforeseen turn of events. I've got some backtracking to do, as it's Saturday night, and you, reader, have been left hanging since late Thursday. Happy to oblige. Working at this for a while won't be a problem, as you'll understand when I'm done. I've got millers lined up, ready to do their duty. Friday I woke up feeling okay. My eyes still weren't up to their usual mediocre standard, but they were better. I wouldn't have to crawl over to the hospital and offer myself as a teaching tool after all. I actually felt like I could do my work duties with at least some skill, so I headed over to the Divide. Dale was relieved that I was doing better. Did I mention that he called me Thursday to see how I was doing? He's a good guy, Dale Johnson. Maybe I haven't given him enough credit in this journal so far. Dale told me that while I was gone, he'd been forced to wait until after work to drink, and that just wasn't fun at all. Much as I sympathized with his plight, I did have to put in a full work day that day to catch up on what I missed. Next week, I said we'd catch up on the lengthy lunches. Gerald Ryloff, on the other hand, acted almost disappointed to see me. I got the distinct impression that he would have relished a chance to fire my ass. Instead, he took his disappointment out on me in the form of softly spoken put-downs. Then he gave me a stack of work about as heavy as a melon, though far less tasty. The day went by quickly, as is always the case when you're buried in urgent work. After work, I headed over to the theater where Lucy's play was being performed. It wasn't opening night. I'd missed that on Wednesday, holed up with my eye miseries. Probably just as well, I thought. Maybe I wouldn't have to deal with as many people jamming into the seats. In fact, there wasn't much of a crowd at all that night, even given that it was a Friday. Sad to say for Lucy's company, but excellent news for my lingering social anxiety. As I passed through the front doors amid the few other folks, I checked my watch. Good, I timed it just right. The play was about to begin. No danger of seeing Lucy beforehand. I picked up the ticket I'd reserved online at the booth and headed over to my seat. The lights flickered and then went down and the play began. Now, I'm sorry, but I can't report on the play itself, again for the good name of everybody involved. I don't even want to call it a tragic love story or a taut psychological thriller, because then you might still be able to deduce what play I went to, being the clever reader that you are. And then which actress was Lucy, based on the physical description that I know I've already stupidly shared with you and will probably be touching on again later in this entry. And then you'll know her real name and the jig is up. Anyway, all those details are irrelevant. As my mom likes to say, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Lucy didn't have a lead, but still played a pretty important role. She had the audience on her side the whole time. Everybody cheered after she gave one particular speech, and once again, sad to say, there was not a lot of cheering that night. About halfway through the play, I started getting a headache, localized in an area just behind my left eye. I tensed as soon as I felt it, because I imagined I had another aching session in my near future. The past ones had begun the same way. But after a few minutes, nothing had popped, throbbed, or erupted, and I figured I was in the clear and relaxed. The moment the play ended and most of the audience dutifully stood up applauding as the actors made their sweaty curtain call, I pushed my way to the end of my row. Stepped on a foot here and there, but I didn't want to linger. I had done my duty, seen Lucy's play, and now I could make my graceless exit. Just as I was coming out into the lobby, my left eye exploded in pain. I mean, not literally, sure, but it may as well have been for the agony I was going through. I fell to my knees, groaning, and shoved my hand under my glasses to cover my eye for all the good that would do. This was loud groaning, mind you, the kind to dwell on long afterward in humiliation. Now my right eye didn't want to be left out of the action. It started to pulse as well. Blind by any legal definition, I could hear ushers asking me if I was all right, if I needed to see a doctor. No shit I do, is how I might have answered them if I could speak at all. But, of course, I was too occupied with keeping my eyes in my head. Now I was moaning, too, to break up the groaning. And everybody knows that moaning is worse than groaning in almost every social circumstance that does not involve a nice queen-size bed. I felt an usher put his hand on my arm. He was going to remove me from the lobby by force. Maybe into the hands of medical professionals, maybe just to the curb. But then a familiar voice rang out from somewhere over my other shoulder. "Brad, let him go. He's my friend." I wouldn't have mistaken Lucy Feigerzalt's high, clear voice anywhere, anytime, not even during a severe medical episode. She touched my shoulder gently. "Mark, what's wrong? Are you sick?" "Nothing," I muttered. A fresh jolt of pain shook me. Jesus, no, just some eye trouble." "Should I take you to the hospital?" "No," I said. I'd forgotten all about my pledge to myself Thursday that I could go to the hospital if things got worse again. All I could think was that I didn't want her to see me like this. "Nah, I'm fine." "You don't look fine." I shrugged off her hand and struggled to my feet. I still couldn't see a damn thing. "Just an eye thing. It's happened before. I got better. Eventually. If I can just get home." I swayed on my feet as another pulse zapped me. "Fuck!" "Why don't you come home with me?" she said. "You can take some aspirin there, lie down, and give your eyes some rest." "I can do that at my own place." "Mark, you stubborn jackass," said Lucy. "You're coming with me. If you think I'm going to let you go off like this by yourself, you're a lot stupider than I thought, and I question my own past judgment. So, it's either my house or the hospital." Just like her to issue ultimatums to a blinded man, I thought. In my irritation, give an actress 7 inches and she'll take a mile. "Hey, how's it going, Kaya?" "Okay, all right." Her arm went around my shoulder and we headed out of the theater. As we went, I heard some guy call out to her that she should return her costume first thing tomorrow morning if she wants them to wash it. Lucy ignored him. Lucy's petite, not a muscle woman by any means, but she held me up pretty well as we walked to the metro. She smelled like sweat. Wow. Let's try that sentence again. She smelled like sweat mixed with stage makeup. Not a great combo, but just having her so close to me calmed me down. "Are we getting strange looks?" "Plenty." "Sorry." "I was really surprised to see you," she said. "You didn't think I'd come?" "I thought maybe opening night or else not at all." I try to be unpredictable. Like the wind, you know. The pain in and behind my eyes had dulled somewhat, though it wasn't gone. I could see blobby, blurry shapes, but even that took effort. I closed my eyes. "Right," she said. I'm glad you came. Figured it'd be the right thing to do. I didn't mean for you to see me like that, though. Or to see me at all, really. "Oh, I'd seen you before then. I spotted you in the audience towards the end of the first act. You really shouldn't pick your nose during a play. The actors can see it." Her tone was teasing. I was scratching my nose. Fuck you. "I'm so glad you came, Mark." We headed down the escalator and caught the next Red Line train a few minutes later. Lucy's stop is Van Ness, UDC. She and Anton live in a handsome house, let's say on Albemarle Street, though that's not right. Just to give you an idea of the caliber of the neighborhood. Handsome houses. Houses that power and ruthless maneuvers built. She gets to live at a Tony address like this due to the unfortunate Mr. Zalt's bankroll, of course, not hers. As we walked down the street, leaves crunching underfoot, she told me that she was planning to move out soon. I said she had dragged her feet for too long anyway. Still could only see blurs when I opened my eyes briefly. I tried picturing all those handsome houses from my last visit to the Feigerzalt residence, but my brain felt too tired to comply. "Hey, Mary." We went inside and she gave me pills to take, as promised, and she put me on a couch and draped a blanket over me. She put my glasses somewhere nearby. "So, when's Anton getting back?" I murmured. "Or is he here?" "No," she said. He and Stu are off somewhere and probably won't be back until tomorrow afternoon, if past experience is any indicator. Whatever. I'm sorry, I said, for this. I hope I didn't cause you to miss an after party or something. I was just trying to do the right thing and see your play. Your sense of duty is appreciated, she said dryly. But don't worry, we got out all our major debauchery after the first couple shows. I think Becca and Steve and some other folks are going to go out for drinks, but I'm actually kind of sick of them by now. You were a good excuse. I would have had a suitable retort to that, I'm sure, if I hadn't been so tired. Instead, I just kind of drifted off to sleep. No dreams that I could remember, though I think I snapped awake a couple times in the middle of the night. Next thing I knew, it was this morning and birds were tweeting from the Rock Creek Gully. I sat up and I realized that my vision had improved. No, not just improved. It was clear as it ever had been. Even clearer, I thought. I took in every detail of the house with an enormous feeling of gratitude. The soft light shining in through the windows, the Japanese watercolors on the wall, the pattern of the marble tiles on the kitchen floor. And when Lucy appeared, I took in every detail of her, too. She looked even lovelier than she had the night I broke up with her over Thai food and Singas. She was back in civilian mode. I wonder if she'd brought in her costume in for washing this morning like they told her to. She was wearing a red t-shirt and tight blue jeans. Her blonde bob was a little mussed, but I liked it better than when she coiffed it into submission. Hi, she said. Hi, I blinked at her. I guess I made it through the night. So you can see me then? Perfectly. I told you it would pass. Well, I'm sure it's not perfectly, she said, coming over to a little table near the couch. Here, you haven't put on your glasses yet. Now that startled me. I could have sworn I already had my glasses on. Thanks. As soon as I put the glasses on, my vision blurred. No, these aren't mine. I think you gave me Anton's. I tried to hand them back. Anton doesn't wear glasses, darling, Lucy said, frowning. Those are your glasses. I tried them again. Blurriness. And when I took them off, I could see just fine. Too fine, in fact. Weird. I don't need them. What, like in the first Spider-Man movie? She teased. After he gets his super spider powers? You do remind me a little of Toby. Then when she saw I was serious, she said, Your prescription just can't change overnight, Mark. If it could, it wouldn't change for the better. Lucy was irritating me. All right, I said. Hold up a book across the room. I'll bet you I can read the title. She nodded. She took a book from the bookshelf and walked some paces away, then held it up in front of her. A Canticle for Leibowitz, I said triumphantly. Nice choice to challenge my pronunciation, by the way. Now you know that I wouldn't have been able to read that at that distance before without my glasses. She stared at me. I think you should see your eye doctor anyway. There's something seriously wrong with that. There was, I concurred. Sure, I suppose that I could accept this upgrade in my vision as a blessing. A gift from the gods of 2010. But instead, I was filled with queasy dread. Why this, after all the aching, all the deterioration that my eyes seemed to be going through, despite what that hack Leonsis said? Could a somatoform disorder be responsible for improving a bodily function? In any case, I figured it'd be better not to count on my miracle vision for long. Could just as easily be taken away again, couldn't it? I folded my glasses and put them in my pocket. Thank you so much for taking care of me last night, but I should go before Anton comes back. He wouldn't care, Lucy said. Please, let me make you some breakfast or something. I've got everything we need for Eggs Benedict. It will be incredible. Really, it's okay. I moved toward the door. I don't want to impose on you anymore. Mark, she said. She didn't try to stop me, but just stood there looking at me. I saw a familiar flicker in her eyes, a call to adventure. You know you never imposed on me. I'll call you sometime soon, I said awkwardly, and made my escape. Everything was so crisp and clear outside. I drank in every detail. It was a real kick not having these damn pieces of plastic between me and the world. I walked up Albemarle and went on until I reached Connecticut. Just as I was starting to scold myself for not enjoying my gift of sight, I saw someone. An old man in a business suit striding along the sidewalk, heading in my direction as I stood at the head of the metro escalator. This old man stood out from the other people around him for one reason, a sickly violet glow that surrounded his whole body. Just like the one I'd seen around Lynn Samuelson in my dream. I stayed where I was, frozen. I opened my mouth. I wanted to shout out, to scream for help, or to scream at him to get away from me. But I was too afraid to make a sound. As he got closer to me, I picked up the whiff of burning leaves. He was gone in a moment, and then so was he, going off on whatever business was demanded of purple glowing gentlemen. I watched him go, my legs shaking, and then I slowly descended to the station. I don't know what that was. I can't imagine how the aura phenomenon transferred from my dreams into real life. I'd assumed it was some kind of symbolism, dream shorthand, like the symbols in the sky. Does this mean that Gwendolyn's fears were legitimate? What if when she told me that story about Lynn Samuelson, about the knife, she really did split open some wound in my brain, a wound that was sutured up so many years ago, and now all the crazy is free to come out again? What am I going to do? If I stabbed that poor woman way back then because I thought she had some purple aura, an aura signifying that she was evil, or at least worthy of being stabbed, then, Jesus, this means that it could happen all over again. I wasn't compelled to attack that old man. As you recall, I was so scared that I nearly shit my pants. But the guy sure gave me the creeps. And how many steps is it from fear to aggression? Not many, I think. History's got some great examples if you care to look. He was just some old man walking around on a Saturday morning, and I feared him. And someday I may kill him. I should just be committed, locked up someplace. A preemptive measure. No big deal, now that I don't need my glasses, I could just sit in my cell and read all the books I wanted. Time enough at last. Ha ha ha! But no, God damn it, no. Thinking that I'm going insane, that's just too easy. And I think I've used that as an excuse to look away from events, experiences that I should not have looked away from. All hail Huntley the Unready, Prince of Denmark, drowning himself in Millers. You know what I really think? When I'm too afraid to say out loud? This is yet another sign of the zone of weird crap. And that the disparate parts of this zone, they somehow fit together, if I were only clever enough to figure out how. Posted by Mark Huntley at 10:39 p.m. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in tonight for another edition of Reading by the Fake Fireside. If you liked what you heard, you can buy me a coffee or check out my books at the links in my Instagram bio, or if you're watching this later on YouTube, in the description field of the video. And you can also check out my previous videos in this reading series on my YouTube channel. I will see you next time.